Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey everybody, it's Tuesday night. Time for another live Wicked Horror Show. I'm Kevin, and as always, I'm joined by Tony Has Nine Fingers.
What is going on, people?
And Tony, would you like to introduce our very special guest?
Sure. The very lovely Krystal Shay. You might know her from Slasherette Party or Murder Size or a couple movies that she is currently working on as well. But you've probably seen her in either Murder Size or
there's a bunch of stuff. She's got a bunch of stuff.
Slasherette Party. And
those are the things that we're familiar with.
Okay, I forgot we have mass people listening to us. So.
All right. But yeah, those are the things we're familiar with. She's got like 11, I think, that are still coming out. And yeah, she's got a bunch on there. So yeah, thank you very much for coming on, Krystal. And thanks for rescheduling last minute, from last week. I appreciate that.
At all. I'm sorry that we had to reschedule.
Yes, it was my fault. Anyone that's listening or watching,
it's not your fault. Things happen.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it was a bit of a personal emergency last week. So thankfully, I'm doing better. But so yeah, thanks again for coming on. And so yeah, we know Murder Size and Slasherette Party because we've had the A&P, like we've had the director and producers on for both those movies a couple times, and we thoroughly enjoyed them. We're big fans of the whole like throwback kind of slasher movies, and so they were very entertaining for sure. So how did you get involved in those movies?
So actually, the first movie I was in was Streets of Vengeance. That was like the first mainstream movie I've ever done, and that was like back in 2016 when I was really, really big into modeling. So I had a big network and I was just always promoting myself. Like whoever wants to work with me, I'm available for promo, for commercial. And then one day, Paul reached out to me, AP Productions, and was asking if I would like to be an extra. And they told me the part and I was like, you know what? I don't care what part it is. I just want to be in a movie. So I took the role and worked with them multiple times. They're such great people and their movies are so fun.
Exactly. Yeah, they are great people. It's a husband and wife team, and I'm just like, well, I thank God your wife lets you get away with this stuff, because it's I'm just like, my wife would not let me get away with this, but so thank goodness because they're making some really fun stuff, a lot of like really cool. Because I'm a child, like I was born in the mid '70s, but I grew up in the '80s, and so those kind of movies were my bread and butter growing up. Those are the ones that you would like hopefully find on cable late at night, or me and my friends later in life would be renting all of the slasher, like fun, like slasher movies, from the video store at some point. It was a good time. So I enjoy the throwback stuff. And Paul Ragsdale, right? That's his last name?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I enjoy that he's paying homage to that and he's sticking to it. That's a good time.
It's fun. Their hair's big. That's my favorite. The big hair and the bright colors and spandex.
Yes.
Spandex specifically.
Oh, yeah. And I know people that legit still dress that way, and it's not for the fun of it. It's like that's how they dress every day. And it's have at it. I'm cool with that. That's cool.
The product of the 80s at that point in time.
Totally, yeah. We're like the same age, this person that I know. She's fantastic. She's great. Like we had a thing recently, and her team won at something. It was a work thing, and then everyone's like, "Whoa!" I turned around, she was doing the robot. It was so funny. It was just great. It was like perfect timing and everything. That was great. But yeah, so as a child of the 80s, I respect that. So I know you've done a lot of other, like besides working with Paul, you've been in a bunch of other movies as well. And I thought I saw something where you would like, did you direct something?
Oh, okay.
The
So
short or something?
I can't really talk too much about this new project. I wish I could, but they told me I have to be hush hush until promo, which we had to push aside for personal reasons, unfortunately. But I'm going to be co-producing a series that I'm going to be in.
Nice.
Most I could really say is I'm co-producing. I'll be the lead actress, and it's like an action thriller. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. Hopefully it's okay, but there's going to be fight scenes in it. So I'm doing fake fight scenes for the first time, and I'm super stoked.
Nice.
Was that the progression that you wanted to? Like when you first are like, okay, I'm going to start acting. Is it like, I'm going to start acting, then I want to produce, direct, and whatever? Or is it something just like, okay, now I've got a few movies under my belt. Let me take that next step into something like.
Honestly, it wasn't something I really thought about. My main goal was just to get as far as I possibly could in the acting industry as an actress. I used to want to do behind the scenes, such as like makeup and hair and possibly wardrobe, because I love makeup and, dressing people up. But when I had the opportunity, when someone spoke to me, they spoke to me because they saw that I had a really good business side of things when it came to acting, because I always had good advice and input, and I would always speak to directors if I had an idea, and no one's ever told me no or it was bad. So when he said that, I was like, you know what? I think I could do it, because I have like all these great ideas and I can see all these little things, because I grew up just living on movies. So, I can like see every little tiny detail, and if something's wrong, like, have you seen Starbucks cups that don't belong in like the 1800 movies or something like that? Chilling there, I would pick that out before we even filmed.
That's the thing is, unfortunately, Tony and myself, I know it's a curse for me. My wife hates it because I'll be like, oh, that's not right. Like I'll be watching something, I'm like, this is completely wrong, and she's like, what? And I'll point out, she's like, no, I can't unsee it. Like I don't know, like little things. I'm like, that shot was just the first shot, but in reverse. And she's like, what? I'm like, just watch it. It's the same exact shot. They just reversed it. And like, or something like that. And I can't help it. But I look for that stuff all the time too. And I notice it a lot.
Kevin's a little bit worse.
Yeah.
I think you're a little bit worse for sure.
Yeah.
But I think actually you and Wolfie, another co-host that every once in a while will hop in here, like he'll be like, that car was not supposed to be there in the 1970s.
Like it's a movie that's based in like a certain year. And he's like, well, that car didn't get released until this year. So that doesn't make sense. I'm like, I'm not that crazy. But a Starbucks cup. Yeah, I think it was a Starbucks cup in like Game of Thrones or something. Obviously that wouldn't be there. Yeah. But it's it's I'll point out, like, it happens all the time, but I'll point out, like, they're not really playing those instruments, right? And she's like, shut up. I'm like, well, they can't do it. But even still, if it was plugged in, they would be not playing anything close to what was actually coming through. So those are just actors pretending to play instruments. And she'll be like, you ruin everything. I'm like, that's right. That's why you married me. I ruin everything. But yeah, I'm one of those people too. But I've had it to the point where it's completely ruined a movie for me, because sometimes I find it lazy. No,
I've ruined movies for myself, because I could predict every little detail in the movie. I'll be sitting next to someone like, this is going to happen.
Yep.
They're like, stop saying it. I'm like, I don't mean to. I just know it's going to happen, and I don't want to know. I just want to pretend I don't know, but I can't.
Right. That's why when a movie, like, because a lot of movies are a little bit predictable, but so when a movie, like, if I think something is going to happen and it doesn't, or something completely different happens, I'm like, this movie's awesome. Like, they completely threw me for a loop. This is great. Like it'll stick out in my head. I'm like, you need to see this movie and tell me if you thought this. And usually one of our other friends, Wolfie, will be like, oh no, I figured it out. I'm like, of course you did. Whatever. But I don't know. That's just the life of a movie nerd. But so have you always been like into like thriller, horror, or is it like was that something you grew up liking, or?
It's always been my go-to for some reason. Movie, like, they never scared me for some reason. The only films that scared me were like ghost related films because they were the most realistic to me.
Yep.
But like as a child, I used to have someone babysit me and they would always fall asleep, so I would turn Scream on and they would like be, you know, oh my gosh, this is gonna traumatize you, and I'm like, it's just a guy in a suit stabbing people.
You
I'm
said
like
Scream?
8 years old.
You said Scream?
Yeah,
Oh,
Scream.
first off, that just made me feel very old that you said that you were 8 years old when Scream came out. But I do a podcast with an actress from Scream. Like I do one. She's like you know, like the bathroom girls, the girls that are like just talking crap, and it's like blah 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 boyfriend and blah blah blah. Like they're just like one of those actresses. Her name is Nancy Ann Ritter, and I do a podcast with her because she knows nothing about horror. So we're teaching her about horror. But yeah, it's it's fun. I've never seen that movie. As being a horror fan, I've never seen Scream, but that's going to be my re-education on one of the episodes. Is they're going to make me watch Scream. But yeah, for ghost movies for me too, it did a lot. Like movies like Poltergeist scared the crap out of me, and they still kind of get me from time to time. Like certain parts of Poltergeist still get me, even though I've seen it a billion times. But and then other movies are like movies that could really happen, like more recent than like Poltergeist, like The Strangers, or like any like a home invasion movie. Like that's terrifying to me because it could happen.
Amityville. Have you seen it? Amityville Horror, not the older one, but the newer one.
Oh no, I haven't. I'm a Josh Brolin Amityville guy. I'm like the old one I've seen a billion times, and it took me a while to get past like the first like opening scene of that movie, like where all the bugs are in the room and the priest is trying to bless the room, and you just hears "Get out!" I'm like, I would shut it off right at that point. Like for the first handful of times I tried to watch that movie.
What is it? Ryan Reynolds in
the newer one?
Yeah, the newer. It's either. I forget the act. It's definitely not Vince Vaughn. I think it's Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
That's
and then he,
you know, I didn't want to be wrong.
Well, either way,
yeah.
I mean, I like him, so I'd check it out.
Yeah, that was in the like earlier 2000s or something like that, like mid 2000s, something like that. It was good.
I liked it.
Yeah.
They say it's based on a true story. It would be interesting, you know, if they actually had like documents you could read about people being possessed like that and killing their whole family. Like I do even
there's some documentaries. There's documentaries that are based off of the Amityville Horror, like based on the family that the Amityville Horror is based off of, and like so yeah,
the whole Conjuring universe is based all around it. The people that did the documentaries,
all based off of the work of Ed and Lorraine Warren. Real quick, Sergio's in the chat saying, "What's up? What's up, Serge?" And Angel is saying, "What's up, everyone?" as well. Angel's usually when he has time, he's the third mic on here. I guess he doesn't have time today. What's up, Angel? But yeah, I'm a believer in ghosts as well. I was actually part of a paranormal investigation team for a while, and it was fun. I'm not scared of it. Like I was as a child. Like I've experienced some stuff on the team where it's definitely it made me think more, like maybe ask more questions in my head than anything. I never had anything that was like, yep, this is definitely what this is. This is definitely a ghost. It made me question a lot more, if anything, you know?
I have experienced a lot, unfortunately, growing up, even into adulthood, because, you know, they say children see things,
right?
Because they're, I guess, more sensitive to it, but I grew up with it. And my mom says, I guess it's something with our family, like our family just sees paranormal.
Sensitive to it?
But I've actually seen and experienced, and my old best friend has experienced it because we used to go ghost hunting in cemeteries from the 1600s to the 1800s. And we both saw the same figure, and it was walking towards us. And like a horror movie, this girl runs and I'm the blonde one left behind. So I freak out, and instead of walking around this pole, I try to hurdle over it. I fall face first into the ground. She's like still running because there's nothing for miles near us. And I'm like, listen up, I got the freaking keys. If I'm dying, you're dying with me.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I had a lot of experiences when I was a child as well. And my dad actually, he worked for a state hospital in Massachusetts. He worked with criminally insane patients, and they were slowly shutting down all the buildings that were part of the hospital. But they would use them for like storage. And I remember him telling me that they used underground tunnels to get between the buildings, which is scary enough. But he's like, we would go up to like another building to get supplies, and it would sound like a fully functioning hospital. But meanwhile, there was nothing happening in there. And like there was a book that was written about that hospital and all this other stuff. So it really piqued my interest as a kid. And it's yeah. So yeah, we went to a lot of like legendary, like me and my wife would like plan our vacation around haunted locations. Like we'd go to certain spots in the country just to go to like haunted locations and like rent out like a room or an area for like the night. Like I stayed in a prison in St. Augustine, Florida. I stayed overnight in death row there, and stuff like that.
Cool though. Yeah. I'm like jealous. I love going, to haunted places, but everyone's too afraid, and I don't want to go myself.
I would totally be down. Like I actually, because Kane Hodder from the Friday the 13th movies, like he's a big
him, or I'm going to be movie with him, but we can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, talk to him about paranormal stuff. He's wicked into paranormal stuff as well. And he was actually part of the Hollywood Ghost Hunters, which was a paranormal team. And I brought up to him, I'm like, what you should do as you're, touring around going to your cons, you should like set up like a ghost hunt in the area that you're going to be in, and just charge people to go on a ghost hunt with you. That would be awesome. I'd pay to go. How cool would that be to go ghost hunting with Kane Hodder? Like for real, I would be all about that. But
so there's your next partner to go ghost hunting with.
Yeah. Maybe while you guys are making the movie, who knows? Maybe you'll be hanging out in a place that's like spooky. You guys can ghost hunt. That'd be cool.
When I work with him, hopefully I'm assuming we're going to be on set together, because it's going to be a short film for an anthology that I've been doing.
Okay.
I already have 2 of them that have been filmed. I don't know if you saw my IMDb, but the dating game, which is like the old dating game TV series, you remember back in the day? So it's kind of like that, except for actresses instead of trying to date. And then and Civil War, there's another one that I wasn't in for it, but there's one coming up called Frida's Evil Origin, and he's going to be in it along with, I'm so bad with names, Bill Moseley. Did I say that?
Yes.
Yep.
Bill Moseley's the man. He's great.
They usually work together. Not a bunch, but there's a few where they work together, and both of them are awesome.
Yeah. Oh, they're both really, really cool guys as well. Like Bill Moseley is just a solid guy. Yeah. Like I don't know. He's just a good dude. They're both really good dudes. So yeah, you'll have fun. They're pros. Sergio's asking if we saw that the new Omen is coming out. Yes, and I'm kind of nervous about that. Like I don't know. Sometimes I wish they would just leave some of these franchises alone, but it does look interesting.
Well, I mean, it looks like they're just trying to like not bury every old thing, but you had like Evil Dead Rises, then you had Exorcist Believer. Now you're gonna have the first Omen. So I guess they're trying to rehash all these older things. It's just that
and I just realized Angel just commented, "This is for you, Kevin," and I was like, "What?" And I was just remembering from the Omen when it's like, "This is for you, Damien," and she jumps off and hangs herself. Because that stuck with me. That affected me as a child for sure. I watched that movie way too young. But yeah, I enjoy the original Omen. So this is supposed to take place before that. So yeah, I mean, I'll check it out. I don't know if I'll go to the theater to check it out, but I'll check it out. I mean, I just went to see the new Ghostbusters, and that was pretty awesome. But there's only certain movies I'm going to go to the theater for nowadays.
So the one. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I haven't seen the new Exorcist myself.
I haven't either.
It's good, but nothing ever beats the original because the
Right.
original was super scary. I don't know if it was just because I was younger, but
It's still the scariest movie I think I've ever seen in my life.
it was good. It just didn't frighten me like it did the original.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's Angel is asking if this is pre-Antichrist. I don't know. I'm assuming it's pre
It
Damien.
says the first, so I'm guessing
Pre Damien. But yeah, the original Exorcist is definitely got a special spot in probably every horror fan's heart, you know. I would say, right? And
so I wanted to bring up before you mentioned, you know, you wanted to get in the industry for just bringing it back to topic, because the one thing about this podcast we go it's all over the place. So if you ever do any other podcasts, it might be a little bit more like structured. Ours is like,
he was telling me that you were like, oh, is there any questions that I have to be ready for? I'm like, no, we just talk. Like,
ours is definitely like left field, and then it finally like meshes into something called a podcast. But with you said you wanted to start, you know, with like makeup and stuff. Now, the one thing is you'll find out, especially depending if you're working on like lower budget or indie stuff. I know Paul and them, they have their own little you know, stuff doing it together. I know Angie does the makeup and stuff. So the one thing is you'll learn is, especially on a lot of indie films, is everybody has like multiple hats. So just keep that like makeup in your mind, because you might be doing that. You might be doing a scene here and then makeup here and then this here. It all depends on what set you got into. But, you know, everybody has hats doing a little. That's the one thing I learned doing all this. Like, I didn't realize, I mean, I thought I knew what movies were until I did a podcast. Like, I'm sure you have a little different take, because now you're used to watch movies. Now you're making them. Doing a podcast, you know, I thought I knew what I was talking about until, you know, we get people on and they're like, oh, well, no, this really happened. So I'm sure it's a different take from your side. You know, what you thought you knew and what you do know now, I'm sure it's completely different.
Yes, honestly, it gives me a whole perspective on movies, and I love it. But at the same time, like I was telling you, I could predict everything now, and everyone hates watching movies with me because I don't mean to. It's just natural. I say things out loud. And so, like, I'll ruin movies for people. Oh, Bob's going to die.
Yeah.
5 minutes later, Bob dies. I'm like, I'm so sorry, guys. I did not mean that for you.
The worst for me, like, even, like, I watch this, like, movies over and over and over again. And like, if the unfortunate happens where I'm watching it with friends or my wife, like, I'll just literally be staring at her, like, waiting for a reaction, you know, like, huh? Like, what do you think? Or like movies that I've watched since I was a kid, like A Christmas Story, or like Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. And I'll be like line for line, but I'll be saying it like a little in advance before they say it. She's like, I can't do this. I can't watch this with you. I can't. That's why she hates most of the movies that I love. But I get it. She likes garbage movies. She can say I like garbage movies too, but whatever. We still like Ghostbusters together, right?
That's good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but literally she's like, she's all about like Lifetime movies and stuff, Hallmark movies. I mean, I'm not about that.
They're good. I used to like them, but the older I got, they got a little cheesy, or they got
very predictable. They're very predictable. Like, that's
because almost every single.
I'm like, wait a minute, is this the same? Like, the guy he's working at this bakery, and then she owns the bakery and she's gonna lose it. Then he figures something out and he's buying the bakery, and then she's gonna work for him, and then they're gonna get married. I'm like, wasn't this the same movie I just saw like 3 months ago? Like. She's like, no, it's a different movie. I'm like, it's the same exact plot though. Like, I don't get it. Like, they're all the same. But you know who pops up? Like Dee Wallace pops up in like these movies from time to time. There's a couple actresses that we've had on the show that pop up in those movies. You know, actresses that I fully respect, actors that I fully respect that pop up in those movies because they pay. You know, they pay well, and they at the end of the day, they're actually well made. You know, considering the TV movies, they are well made, and they do have a fan base. So there's people that watch those movies that have probably no idea who Dee Wallace was before this. They probably don't realize that she was in the mom in E.T. or that,
The mom in Cujo, or the
Yeah.
mom in. She was a mother in a lot of movies, The
Yeah.
Invisible Mom and stuff like that. But
Yeah, she wasn't even that old when she was the mom in E.T. or Cujo. Like, I don't know.
Sorry,
But
screaming. Was that loud? Okay,
we heard it.
let me close the slider real quick.
you don't. I mean, it was. I didn't even know. I think you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Sorry, there's just a little girl scream. It works. Horror podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So
It's just,
It's the ambiance.
yeah. It's just
But
okay.
now with working with Paul and Angie, so you said you started on Streets of Vengeance, and then it went to Lorette Party, and then it moved to Murder Size. And each movie you did, you got a little bit bigger role. Now, did you ask who you're like, okay, now I work with you guys a few extra times, can I get a bigger role? Or did they're like, okay, listen, we're working with Krystal, let's just, give her a bigger role and see if she wants it. Like, how did that work out?
They actually reached out to me, and they said they had a part for me. I don't know if I should say that. I thought this should be okay. So they had a part for me, and then they wanted to switch me to another part. But then I was like, honestly, Cassandra just fits me really well, because I'm into like very like realistic acting, if that makes sense. Like, I can do over the top, but my type of acting has always been kind of like Julia Roberts, just very realistic, like you're watching someone live a daily life. So I was like, Cassandra seems like me, because the other character I could have done, but the girl that did her part played it so much better than me. So I'm happy with, the role I got.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping to work with them again. I'm like so sad because they came out with Only Things, and I love vampires so freaking much, but I'm so stoked to see it because they have a lot of good actors like Jessica.
Jessa Flux, and
yes.
I saw Candace Bowling back in there. Drew Marvick is back in there. So I see it seems like the cast is just growing like by the second, because every other day it's like, we cast this. I'm like, okay, this is going to be, all their movies have been awesome. So I could just imagine what this one's going to be. So
I know, I'm so stoked. Like, honestly, vampires have been my thing because I'm from the 90s. So I grew up with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, and even Blade, I think, was from the 80s, right?
Maybe
Blade was 90s.
Early 90s.
Was it early 90s?
Maybe.
Okay. But I grew up on stuff like that, so that's always been like my go-to. And for the longest time, I wasn't able to ever pretend to be a vampire because I had kind of like a weird snaggle tooth that looked like a vampire fang. So I used to joke saying I was like a half defanged vampire. But now that my teeth are nice, I'm like, I could actually do vampire roles now because I could put the little fangs in. So one of these days.
Yeah. Well, you can make your own vampire movie.
So anybody who's watching this, who might be a director, you never know who listens to it. Let's cast Krystal as a vampire in one of the next movies.
And the thing with a title like Only Fangs, it's going to be like a fun movie. It's going to be like just as fun as the other movies. If they're not done casting, are they done casting?
I think so.
Oh, I was going to say, maybe there's still some announcements. Maybe you don't know yet. Maybe you'll be in it.
Maybe I'll have to be a victim. I'll die. I'm dying.
Yeah.
So what did you watch anything like, because with Murder Size, you had, a bigger capacity. Did you watch anything like the old workout videos that you had to do? Or because, I've been following you for a while, and then we finally got you on the podcast, but, you have some moves and stuff like that. Did you have to watch, anything beforehand, like the Linnea Quigley's horror workout or whatever the hell it's called? What is the Linnea Quigley's thing?
I just, like with my family and like people that are older than me, they grew up on the 80s. So I feel like I have it like embedded in my head from stuff that I've seen. But also I did like the 80s, and I feel like some of their moves are kind of simple when it comes to the aerobic moves. They're kind of like sensual but basic, if that makes sense. Like what was it with I'm so bad with her name. She plays in Halloween.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
What is it? Hard Body or something?
Where she's like doing the thrusting, and then they have John Travolta doing the thrusting.
Yep.
Like stuff like that was like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah. But yeah, the old Jane Fonda workouts and stuff like that from when I was a kid. Like, it's just like, are these really helping anybody? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how all these workout videos, she would come out with like, there's like shelves of them at the video stores. And it's like, but every year America's getting fatter and fatter and fatter. Like, it's just all these dudes getting these videos. Just like, that's right. Like, that's all it was. Sergio's asking if we have a trailer. I do have the trailer for Murder Size and for Slasherette Party. I don't know. Is there any trailers that you would want to play? Like, I tried to grab them from YouTube and it wouldn't let me for some reason. So I have to play them in a different way. But if there's any other movies that you would want to play a trailer for?
I don't have any access to any, and unfortunately, some of the films I'm in, they're just like a little slow on post-production and all of that.
Okay.
But Murder Size would be one that I would absolutely love because that's one of my favorites. I wish I could have a trailer for Alien Storm that I'm in because that has some, well-known actors in it too. But
who's in that one?
So you remember Kevin Sorbo?
Oh yeah,
Hercules, and then
Hercules,
Tom
yep.
Arnold. So
Kevin
Sorbo is the president in the movie. I don't know who Tom Arnold is playing, but I didn't get to work with him on set. I'm so sad because I wanted to meet him because I did grow up watching Hercules, but I'm the opening to the movie, so that's it's really exciting.
Yeah.
So the movie opens on you.
That's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the president, Hercules.
Right? I was like, let's Hercules as the president.
That's right. And then Tom Arnold, aka ex Roseanne husband. I don't know. But I don't know. I mean, I was a fan of Tom Arnold at one point as well. I mean, I don't know.
That's John Goodman.
I know that, but he was really.
They were.
Roseanne. They were in one of the Friday the 13th. No, one of the Nightmare on Elm Streets together, and that's how I was like, all right, this franchise is done. Like, they're having Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold in the movie. This makes zero sense. But yeah,
forgot they were together.
Yeah, they were in that. But let me play the trailer for Murder Size. Real life Tony Cadero. What? I don't know what that means. But anyways, I'm gonna play the trailer for Murder Size. So I'm gonna have to start it. I'm gonna mute us all individually. Then I'll unmute us. It's gonna be weird because usually we don't do it this way. So it's just gonna be a second. 1 second, please. Murder Size. There's that. And I'm gonna mute us and mute.
You've seen a dead body before?
It appears the killer has struck again, this time attacking a woman in her own home.
We are going to make a fortune at this video.
Gino, how am I supposed to work like this? All those girls out there are perverts, strippers, and communists.
I'm an actress, okay? That's why I'm on the cover.
Nikki, what are you doing? You can't eat fast food. That's going to make you slow and heavy.
I'll burn it off. I'm a stripper.
Okay, I'll make a deal with you. If you keep the camera on me at all times, I'll go out with you.
Okay, ladies, let's put our hair up. Looks like we have a competition. At least when my family wants to whack somebody, it's just business.
Just business?
Murder isn't supposed to be fun. Sometimes it's necessary.
I paid a lot of money for this video.
But there's a killer running around.
Horror movies make me horny.
She's lost her innocent voice, and now life is her toy.
Now I have to go through and unmute us. So yeah, there's a trailer for Murder Size. Sergio, what do you think of that? Or did you go to the bathroom?
And
Serge?
remember, it's also on physical media as
That's
well.
right. I think it's streaming in a lot of places. I think it might actually be on Tubi as well.
Tubi and Prime.
It's on both?
And I want to say I might be on Peacock or it was one of those other, like, there's one more. There's 3 platforms. I just can't remember the third one.
Okay. So if it's
I
on
know
Tubi,
for sure they got a bunch of on Tubi, I remember, because I remember at one point in time, Slasher Red Party was also on.
yeah, and with Tubi, you got to watch commercials, but the proceeds go right back to the filmmakers. So that's a plus in my book.
Plus, it has a lot of
what?
good movies on there.
Oh yeah. No, Tubi's great. I like Tubi a lot. You know, it's something that I wish was around, you know, like when I was younger, but there wasn't internet when I was younger, so I don't know how that would have worked.
And one of the things I watched right before we came on here, on the opposite side of horror movies, was a shorter movie, The Fall of an Influencer, I saw on there. So how did that come? Because I guess that was in your, modeling days and stuff.
So it was funny. We filmed that during the pandemic, and they were kind of basing it off of my life a little bit, but changing the scenarios around to fashion because they wanted to make it accessible to like all ages, not just, for adults. But it's pretty much how, because I used to have a 276,000 page Instagram account, and it got hacked. Kind of like how in the film where he stole it from me.
Mm.
So it's like based on all those little things about me, but it was really great. The only downfall is, I don't know like how to say this, but it was supposed to be finished and put on platforms, and then some stuff came about. So the director, one of my great friends, Cheryl Quinn, she's an actress. I met her on set, and she and I ended up taking over the project and, editing it and having all this other stuff we had to do. But because I didn't want to deal with any issues, I was going to try and put it on Tubi, but I didn't want to make profits off of it. I just wanted it to be seen to the public. So I put it on YouTube because it's just made and it just sat there. So me and her took over and started doing everything else because other people decided to do other things.
Well, that's a downfall too of like a lot of films that, again, behind the scenes that you have no idea. There's a lot of films out there that will never see the light of day, even though, we were able to watch like a preview for them or something along those lines. It's one of those situations where, sometimes, like, I don't know the situation, but I'm sure it's happened like thousands of times where you think you have something or backing or whatever, and then something falls through, and then you have the whole thing or you have part of it and the rest kind of just falls to the wayside. So it's happened many a times where, especially with us, like there's been a few movies that we were so excited for and then
never saw the light of day.
Never saw anything. So it's just like, it sucks, but it happens. It happens in the industry.
Hey, Jamie Hill's in the chat real quick. Welcome back, Jamie. We haven't seen you in a while, but Jamie Hill's an awesome actress as well. And
she's Skinamarink.
Yep. And she's saying she's going to start posting on YouTube. So that's awesome. Go follow Jamie Hill on YouTube. And Jamie, whenever you want to come on, I see that you've been a little busy on your Facebook and stuff. So yeah, whenever you want to come back on, just let us know and we'll hook it up. Right on. So I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, that is okay. All I was going to say was, I'm one of those people that if I'm in something, it has to be shown because I put in all this hard work. I memorized a full page script and filmed it in 2 days with no sleep, busting my butt off. And, some of us put in so much work that I wasn't just going to let all our effort go to waste. So
Mhm.
if anything does go down, I get in trouble, that is fine, because I just wanted people to see the film. It's very old because I had braces and I had a lisp, but it was still a fun movie to film. It got a lot of scenes got cut out because they wanted it to be short. It was supposed to be like 48 minutes, but they cut it to 30. So there was going to be a second, but unfortunately, after all the years that passed, there is not going to be a second part of the rise of an influencer. So it's okay though.
Yeah.
Never say never though in the industry as well, because you never know. You start producing and directing. You sooner or later you're going to be writing, and then you can make your own. Make it a full length, or have like the beginning, the fall, and then the rise. You could do a remake and a reboot. That everything all these mainstream is now just a reboot or a retelling or a remake anyway. So
No, that's smart. Honestly, I didn't even think of that, but that would be, cool to do on my own. I thought about, doing stuff on my own, but I want to wait till after I produce a couple others, movies or films with people before I start doing it on my own, because I want to learn the ins and outs besides jumping in, because it could be chaotic.
plus it also helps me to network too. I mean, it seems like you are getting between, because sometimes you work with the same people, which is awesome too, but sometimes you get a little like not stagnant, but you don't get a taste of everything. So jumping into different roles, meeting new people, networking, that's in every form of media is always great. So you're definitely on the right track.
Yeah, you're working with some very well-known names in the industry, like in the horror industry. So now, do you like frequent like horror conventions and stuff? Like, do you ever go check those out?
I did back in the day around, the pandemic time, but I haven't recently. I mean, if I was asked to go, I would totally go. Like, I love stuff like that. I love going to any conventions, honestly. But I did go to Massacre Pool Party with Drew before. I want to say before I filmed /Lyric Party. I could be wrong, and that was when I first met him. And that was.
He seems like an interesting dude. Like he's showing up in a lot of stuff, and he seems fun. Like he reminds me of Joe Stauffer. Like his look reminds me of Joe Stauffer, who's a director that we're both huge fans of. But yeah, his vibe reminds me of Joe. It's
you
weird.
guys would love him. He's so sweet. He's so funny. Like, I like that he doesn't take life so seriously. I don't know if you see him on Facebook, but some of his like little cooking videos that he does, I think they're hilarious because he adds a little like twist and flair to his videos.
Nice.
Yeah, we still have to get him on. We still have yet to have him on here.
Oh, I would love to watch that podcast.
Have you reached out to him, Tony?
I have not. So that's probably on. That's probably
I haven't either. I haven't either. So, it's one of those things where we're just like, I have to reach out to this person and just add them to the list, and eventually we'll do it. Who knows? Sergio's asking where you can see the movie Murder Size, but yeah, we were saying it's on Tubi, and it's on a couple other platforms, but Tubi's free. It has commercials, but it's free. So,
and then you could probably rent it off Amazon Prime, unless
it's
one of those things under like the Amazon Prime. I know there's some that are like, if you have a Prime membership, you can watch it for free.
Right,
but that's few and far between nowadays.
Yeah, it is. It is. Also, I want to say that we've heard I know we've heard from at least one director that they made more money off of Tubi than he ever did off of Amazon. So that's interesting. It's good, at least for the filmmakers, to make their money back or try to make their money back, because it can get very expensive to make these movies. Just saying, especially if they're doing like festivals and stuff like that. It's like they have to like even pay to even just be considered for the festival, and then they're like, no, thanks for the money. You're not gonna be in this festival. Thanks for the $250 though. All right, bye. Like that's crazy to me. That would be infuriating. First time I would be rejected, I'd be like, I want my money back right now. I'm calling the credit card companies and I'm going to block. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I didn't do that. I didn't join a festival. Someone took my
Yeah.
card.
Festival? Who's that? I don't even know who that is. Who's this festival guy? I don't know. I don't know when it not Festival. I don't know who that is. What? Okay, now Sergio's being like, looks good. I like all the women in the trailer. All right, Sergio, simmer
Has
down.
you seen Bachelorette Party?
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you seen Slash Roulette Party? That's also
is great. Trust me and everyone else that has seen it.
yeah.
Yes.
Those movies, like all of his movies, seem like they'd be right up your alley, Sergio. So yeah, go find Murder Size, and then when it goes, you can go to the bottom and you can find the director. Just click on Paul Ragsdale, and you'll be a fan. Like we are. We're all fans. He's a great dude, and he makes fun movies that have lovely ladies in them. All right, that's all. I'm just gonna stop. Listen up now.
So now, is your goal to like branch out of horror and do a little bit of every genre, or are you comfortable now? Because we've had people on here that like, I never thought I would act in a horror movie, and now I love it, and that's what I want to do. Or
I've kind of actually the whole list of movies in my book of notes. I have a variety of stuff, honestly. So The Fall of an Influencer was supposed to be a drama / comedy. I think it was more drama than comedy. So I've done drama, I've done action, and I've done horror. My next one, well, one of these days or years, I want to do comedy because I feel like I would do really well with comedy. A lot of my friends and people think I'm just very comedic and I make people laugh all the time and I'm just very silly. So it'd be really fun to just, broad out and see if I would do well in that. Because I don't want to be stuck in one genre.
Right.
I never wanted to become a scream queen. I love horror, but I still want to do realistic stuff. But I love having a variety because I get bored easily. And I never want to do dumb blonde roles. The only one is The Dating Game. That was the only one I did super well. But it's just I don't want to be typecasted because I'm blonde. So I don't want to be the dumb bimbo every single time.
Right. Right. Yeah, I get that. And that is weird to think that that's still a thing. You know what I mean? Like, well, like it's 2024. Like it's just weird to see like and Kenny 525 is saying she's a hottie. I don't know if you know Kenny 525.
I'm not sure. Maybe. Hi, Kenny. Thank you.
But yeah, it's weird. Like it really seems weird to me that kind of stuff still. It's like, oh, we need a dumb blonde or whatever. That's just crazy to me. It's weird.
Right? Why can't
It's
I
really
be
weird to me.
blonde?
Exactly.
Gosh.
No, for real. Like most of the people I work with and like some of the smartest people I know in general, like are females. So I just don't get it. Like most of my bosses that are awesome bosses have all been female. Like it's just weird to me that it's like it's still like a thing. Like the fact that it's still like an issue that women get paid less. I don't get it. It's just weird to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just in my mind. I think like the world is different. I guess.
No, I agree. I believe everyone should be treated equal. And there's like a war on the internet about, oh, if you want to be treated equal, then, you need to do this. It's like, okay, treated equal means respectfully. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean we can pick up 200 pounds because you can, or it means we're going to fight each other in a fist fight because we're equal. It just means respect. Pay, the pay needs to be the same. No one should be treated differently no matter any age, any race, any gender. Like it blows my mind that people still argue about that. Oh, you're weaker, so you get paid less. But, it doesn't matter how strong you are. It's about your brain, There's certain things like who cares how strong you are?
Right.
Doesn't mean you're better.
Right. I'm a big fan of, like if you have a job and you want more money, you have to show that you deserve more money. Like, don't just expect that it's going to automatically come your way. Prove that you deserve more money. Don't just be like, well, I need more money, so give it to me. Like, okay, well, you should be able to show that you're worth more money.
Yes, work hard, you know?
Yes, exactly.
But the thing is nowadays too, I mean, especially we've had conversations in a lot where, you know, indie movies are a little bit different than your mainstream stuff because especially like the big wigs in mainstream think they know what people want. So it's like you need a certain amount of this, a certain amount of this, a certain amount of this to make a good movie.
Yeah.
But it's like no, like
yeah. Well, that's the way it's been in Hollywood. But yeah, where are most of those directors that came up with those ideas? Some of them are in prison. The rest are dead. Like, you know, we're like the industry, like, is a different story now. Like, it's movies aren't what they were even like 15 years ago. They're not the same. Like, people aren't going to the theaters like they used to. Like, the way they stream, or you know, with streaming media and everything has changed. Like, since the pandemic, everything has changed, and it's like they need to really see like the originality is coming from the independent stuff, and Hollywood is just revamping everything over and over again. So,
and I like that a lot of independent filmmakers are actually able to put their, you know, films into the theaters, you know,
yes.
even if it's only for 1 or 2 days or, you know, a couple times a month. Like, that's so exciting because then it gives people the theatrical environment. Yep. You know, I love going to the theater, the big screen, the getting the snacks. Like, that's always been my favorite thing to do. I love movies at home. It just is not the same at a theater.
Yeah. Actually, Jamie Hill, who was in the chat earlier, her movie Skinamarink, I saw it at home and I liked it a lot. Then myself and Angel had the opportunity to see it in the theater, and I loved it so much more in the theater. And the movie ended up, I think it was only in theaters for maybe like not even a week or something like that in the US. And it only cost, it was under 20,000 to make it, and it made over $1 million.
It's great.
And that was like shortly after like Terrifier 2 was in theaters and made a shit ton of money and really changed the thoughts of Hollywood quite a bit.
I think that the success of certain movies are definitely going to help, you know, get eyes on, even if it is like you said, a weekend or right. Something like that. At least, you know, a special screening, because sometimes, you know, the only time movies actually get, you know, in a theater is sometimes for like a premiere, which is still good, which is still cool. But it'll be a little bit different if it's like, okay, select theaters, you get to go for a weekend and it's in there. But I think the success with certain movies are going to help more, you know, get more movies in there.
And Jamie just clarified for me, Skinamarink cost $15,000 to make.
Oh, okay, that's still great though, how much they made it, you know, playing in theater, like
totally. Yeah. No, it's huge. That's huge. They made it during the pandemic. It's like Skeleton Crew. It's a very different movie. And right below that comment on the Facebook side, Angel saying that Skinamarink on that big of a screen was an acid trip. It really was. Like, you're like watching the screen, you're like your mind's playing with you. Sergio, I'm not mad at you. I don't know why you think I'm mad at you. I'm not. But yeah. So independent movies are where it's at. It's been that way for me for a very long time. But I think that a lot of the big industry is seeing it too. And you know, I'm seeing some like some bigger Hollywood movies taking more chances now too. You know, like movies like Poor Thing or Poor Things or whatever. That's a weird ass movie. And but it's awesome. And they let that happen. And yeah, Jamie's agreeing. Indie movies are where it's at. It started for me with Blair Witch Project. I agree. Blair Witch Project, like that was
a B budget movie or like an independent film, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Hollywood status. Like they
totally. I like this. So when Blair Witch came out, it was before the internet was gigantic, and you didn't really. I had no idea if they were really dead or not. The way that I found out that they were that they were not, that it wasn't real, was they were in the audience of the Tonight Show, and they're like, "Oh, they're the cast from Blair Witch Project." I'm Jay Leno, and it was like, you know, I was like, "What? They're not dead? I don't get it." And I was like, "Wait, I've been tricked this whole time." But yeah, it was yeah.
Yeah, that movie definitely was lucky that it was like pre-internet, because at that point in time everything would have been spoiled in
It would have been
5
spoiled.
seconds.
Yeah, after.
So it was a product of its time, but it was a great product of its time because it's definitely one of those movies that wouldn't be able to get away with it now. But
Yeah.
it was great for me.
Kenny's asking what the favorite role that you've played so far. Do you have a favorite?
Let's see. Honestly, I don't know if I have a favorite, but I can say that there are a couple films that I enjoyed really, really working on. Like, I don't have a favorite character. I like all my characters.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say I really like Murder Size because I just thought it was really fun, doing aerobics. And I really liked my death scene.
Yeah.
I went all out into my death scene. Like, I want to be Tom Cruise doing my own stunts. Like, I don't want to, go around the bush or anything. So when I don't want to spoil anything, but when I was getting my head knocked onto the table, I actually was really going down. It wasn't like fake sounds adding onto it. I just did a sneak thing where like I had my hand here, but I was really slamming into the, because I wanted to look realistic, because I can't stand movies where someone's like getting punched and it like stops, or someone's getting hit on the table, but they're actually not touching anything.
Yeah. What bugs me is when they do that and then the sound is just obviously fake. It's like, that's not even close to the sound in the room. Like, I don't understand why. I like it. It takes you out of it. But yeah, no, I appreciate that. I appreciate that you did that.
There's that one, and I have two other ones. So Bears on a Ship. I don't know if you guys have heard about that, but it's with Uncia Films. The producer's Eduardo. He is amazing, such a sweetheart, and it's not on IMDb, surprisingly, but IMDb does have an article about it. It was so fun. So we were on the Aurora in Stockton, if you've heard of it, the old ship that I think Tom Cruise actually filmed on.
Oh, okay.
I think I could be wrong, but that was really fun. I don't want to give too much away because he wants us to be a little shush, about it. But my death scene was really fun. I'm kind of excited to see how it turns out, because in my head, when I was dying, I sounded like I was giggling.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope it doesn't sound like what I heard in my head, because I'm not supposed to be laughing while I die, But I was literally getting tossed around, so whatever came out of me came out. But that was really, really fun. And I got to work with my good friend Cheryl, and I got to meet, some really good actors as well. That movie is going to be so much fun. Like, I wish I had the trailer, but it is on YouTube, Bears on a Ship. I would definitely recommend everyone to check that out. And also, the next one would be Gone with the Dead. It's premiering, I believe, next month. And I really liked it because I was actually able to use guns in it.
Nice.
I was a badass holding a big old shotgun that killed my arm because I was holding it for so long. But, I'm just shooting away all these zombies. And I just thought it was cool because Justin, the producer, like, we're good friends. He's like, you know what? I'm going to make your character, Lisa, a badass bitch. And I was like, please and thank you. So that was just really exciting to, play a badass.
Nice. Now, are you a gun person in general? Like, do you like, have you gone shooting and stuff? So
I don't own any guns. I have a BB gun that looks like a Daisy rifle. So
Mhm.
that's cool. But I have shot a gun at a shooting range. I do love guns. I just don't go shooting because no one wants to go with me. I do have someone that I kind of am talking to that owns a bunch of different guns, and he wants to buy another one. And I told him maybe just wait, because these guns are like $600, $700, $800 that he wants to buy. But I told him, how about let's shoot the guns you have before we go buy
Oh,
another.
totally. Yeah. I've only gone shooting once. My friend Mark has a bunch of guns, so he took me and my wife shooting. And I'm proud to say that my wife did better than me. So that's good. No, that's good. So I know that, if we ever have a home invader, we don't have a
To
gun.
hide
So
behind her.
we're both screwed. But my next door neighbor is a state cop. So,
Okay.
they're dumb for breaking in because there's a state cop or a state trooper SUV in the driveway next door. So, dummy, get the hell out of here. But But yeah, so it's actually about time to go. So do you want to? I know you have like your book with movies that are coming out. What do you? Where do you want people to follow you for more information? And like, what movies do you have coming out that you want people to check out? Well, I'm sure you want them to check out all of them, but yeah.
Well, I do know Gone with the Dead. That one's going to be premiering. I have it written down somewhere. It premieres May 13th, and I think anyone can go. I think you just have to find the event on Facebook, if I'm correct. But Gone with the Dead's coming out. That one, though, so it's been filming since 2017 till now. So some of us have kind of changed our look a little bit, but it's a really fun movie with really great actors. That one, and also Alien Storm, which is one of the biggest productions I've ever worked on. It was like $100,000 production, but I think they put more into it because their GoFundMe's, or not GoFundMe's, Indiegogo campaigns usually are like at 200%. So they always make double or triple. But that one's going to be good because that one has Kevin Sorbo and Tom Arnold. And the plot is just going to be really fun. And we shot in Malibu.
And Krystal Shay.
But
yeah, don't forget, it's got Krystal Shay in the movie. You don't want to undersell that.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
But honestly, if anybody wants to keep up with anything, I would say maybe to follow Krystal Shay, my Facebook page, because I try to keep updates on stuff like that. My Instagram, I'm not that active on, but I still promote stuff there. But my Facebook page is more of where I'm going to be promoting all the films when they do come out. Because there's so many movies. Like in September, November, I'm going to be flying out to the East Coast to play a stripper named Barbie for another zombie movie.
Just out of curiosity, what part of the East Coast?
Oh, I could be wrong. I want to say Virginia, but I don't remember.
Okay. I was just asking because both Tony and I are East Coast.
Oh, what part?
Well, I'm in Massachusetts, so that's very coast, and he's in New Jersey.
Okay.
He's from New Jersey.
Watch me show up to one of your guys' states and be like, oh, fine, not Virginia.
Like, hey, I'm in Massachusetts. What do I do now? Get out? All right, cool. No, because I don't know. I think Mass is kind of boring. But you have Salem, which I've still never gone to. But
I was just going to say Salem. I'm into witches and stuff like that.
I know. I am too, but I've never gone to Salem. I'm going to be 49 this year. I've never gone to Salem, Massachusetts. I've lived in Massachusetts my whole life.
You should go.
I've driven through it for work. That's it.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
It's because you live there. You know, people like me who live in California, we want to go explore other
Totally. Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, Jeremy, one of the co-hosts of the podcast I do with the actress from Scream, he just started following you. So there you go.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy. You're the best. But yeah, so I'm always like curious, and I don't want to feel like a creep when someone's like, "Oh, I'm heading out to the East Coast." I'm like, "Where?" Like, no, I'm like, I don't want to be like, "Where?" Tell me exactly when, date and time, please. Like, it's just weird because I'm like, even if it was in Massachusetts, I'm like, I don't want to leave my house. Like,
so, I'm nosy like that. I'm always interested on where people go because I love traveling. So and it's cool, and you never know if they're in your area. Meet up for lunch or something.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So Kenny's saying that he's in Oregon, but he's never been to Mount Hood. I don't even know what that is, but I'm assuming that's a place to be.
Where's Mount Hood?
I guess it's in Oregon.
Oh, it's in Oregon? Okay.
But yeah, there's plenty that I haven't. Like, I don't know. I live in central Massachusetts, and like, there's just towns I'm like, I'll get there one day.
I have Disneyland, and I've never been, or is it Disney World? Whichever
yours
one.
Is Disneyland is yours. Disney World is Florida.
I've been to Universal Studios, like all these places I've never been. I'm in California, so I feel you on,
Oh, I'm sorry. Angel asked, "Where do you sleep at, Kevin? How many pillows?" And I just realized he was just making fun of me.
Put my bed.
Yeah. So your Facebook page, not your personal Facebook. The page is where you keep all the updates, right?
Yes, because the only people that I will out on my personal Facebook are either people that I've worked with, but mostly anyone in the acting industry. So if you're not an actor or part of the film industry, a producer, director, casting, I usually don't accept you because
Okay.
it's usually friends and family and work on that. But my Facebook page, anybody can add me and I will engage with you. But if you're lucky, you might get added to my personal page.
I was going to say, I feel bad because I think I posted your personal, I think I tagged your personal page.
It is no problem at all because I do post public stuff sometimes.
Okay.
So they can follow me. But I think adding me to accept as your friend is very rare. But I think you can follow people now, right? For their public stuff.
So yeah.
So
So I'm pretty sure I follow. I don't know if we're friends on Facebook, but I think I follow you.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say message me and I'll add you.
All right. Sounds good. All right. So Tony, what about yourself? Where can people go to find you? And I found out Kenny's a fan of Tony's because he said you have something about a voice, about you have a majestic voice or something like that.
You can find me at Tony Has Nine Fingers on YouTube, where I do movie reviews, unboxings, anything movie related. You'll find me on there. Tony Has Nine Fingers on X, which I never use. Tony Has Nine Fingers on TikTok, which is pretty much the one I go to the most, the quickest growing app that I do have. Almost to 25,000 followers on there.
Congrats.
Close. Thank you. So you find me on there. I do anything movie related. I do lives where I show off my collection. Tony's Movies on Instagram, where I show off the movies behind me. And of course, here on the Wicked Horror Show, whether we have awesome guests or it's just horror movie talk, we do it most Tuesdays. But, check us out. Check us out live, because then you get to watch cool trailers or stare at our beautiful faces. Or, if you don't want to.
Your majestic beard. Angel just asked what that beard do. That's what he just asked.
It's growing
Remember you didn't have a beard?
Yeah, I look like a 5-year-old child.
Exactly. I showed my wife a picture of you without a beard. She's like, no. See?
Yeah, but the thing is, I do look like 10 years younger without it.
Yeah, but you don't look old now. So simmer down.
You don't.
No.
You literally look like what? Early 30s, late 20s. I'm
I
blacked
wish.
up, so.
No, I'm almost 40. So.
Oh, well,
Yeah, but you don't look it.
Yeah.
I like to think that I don't look almost 50, but
Shut the front door. Are you messing with? I can't tell. Are you really?
yeah, I'm gonna be 49 this year.
You don't look it at all.
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, since
I
we're
have no
saying
kids.
ages,
I have no kids. That's why. Right, go
30.
ahead.
Because everyone's always asking me how old I am. They never know. They either think I'm old and look really, really good, or I'm really, really, really young. So it's never a in between. I'm either like 40, looking good, or I'm like 23.
Yeah, I'm sorry. How old did you say you were?
32. I'm going to be 33 in December.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't look your age. You look younger, but
I think it's the bangs. But when I had braces, oh my gosh. I got ID'd so much, and I would get so frustrated. I'm like, I am old, okay? I'm an old lady over here with braces. Please do not ID me.
That's funny.
Oh, Jeremy just said that he would smash with me. So that's cool. Thanks, Jeremy. So for my plugs, besides doing the show with the lovely Tony Has Nine Fingers and the occasionally lovely Angel from That Strange Show, I'm also part of That Strange Show, which we're going to start recording new episodes coming up soon. And I'm also part of the Re-Education of Nancy Ann Ritter, along with Jeremy Courtney, who's in the chat right now on the Facebook side, where we talk with Nancy Ann Ritter about all things horror, trying to educate her on things. We've been lucky enough to introduce her to just recently Friday the 13th. She hadn't seen The Shining, hadn't seen a bunch of iconic horror movies, and thankfully we were able to introduce those to her life. Besides that, I'm also going to be. This is a little bit away, but you have your time to book your flights or your hotel rooms. I'm going to be at the Sci-Fi Horror Fest in Vernon Downs Casino in Vernon, New York. On August 16th and 17th, I'll be moderating panels there, including the panel for Lloyd Kaufman, creator of The Toxic Avenger and Trauma Entertainment. So yeah, if you're in the area of Vernon, New York, which is in the middle of nowhere in upstate New York, please come by and say what's up. And if you go to the VIP after party, maybe you get to see a screening of Shakespeare's Shitstorm. I'm just saying. I'm looking forward to that. Angel saying, let's get one bed. All right, cool. This is getting more and more uncomfortable as the day goes on.
One bed, one him. Is that what he means?
That's what he means.
Oh, he likes to snuggle. It's okay. We all love to snuggle.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I don't know how my wife's going to feel about this. But anyways, thank you very much again for coming on, Krystal. It's a pleasure. And we're going to end this show. Thank you, everyone, for watching / listening. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Hi. Thank you for having me.